Michael Voris will be speaking in Houston, Texas on Saturday, May 21st at a day-long conference on the topic of hell, what it is, and how to avoid it. For more information, please click on the link next to today's Vortex and News. That's Houston, Texas, Saturday, May 21st. God bless you. Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Backing Republicans and same-sex unions. According to a report in the New York Times, legalizing same-sex marriage in the Empire State has become the focus of gifts from wealthy homosexual donors to the Republican Party. It is said that approximately $1 million in support is being indirectly funneled into Republican coffers through an assortment of gay activist organizations. Meanwhile, New York City's Mayor Michael Bloomberg is also furthering the same-sex marriage cause by holding fundraisers at his New York townhouse, lobbying Albany lawmakers, and donating $100,000 of his own money. This new breed of Republican donor claims that same-sex marriage is completely in line with conservative GOP values and economic principles. Body murder cover-up. Christian leaders in Pakistan are saying that the murder investigation of Catholic politician Shahbaz Bhatti has been botched. Bhatti was assassinated on March 2nd of this year because of his fight against the use of Islamic blasphemy laws to intimidate the nation's Christian minority. Critics say that the murder investigation has been hampered by a lack of political will by the government's mostly Muslim base, unwilling to expose Bhatti's killers. Pakistani Christians are increasingly the focus of Muslim harassment and abuse in an effort to drive them from their lands and eventually out of the country. March attracts Canada's media. 15,000 pro-life advocates marched on Parliament Hill in Ottawa, and surprisingly, the Canadian media was on hand to capture the event. Major media outlets from across Canada participated instead of doing what they usually do, that is, ignoring most pro-life events. Unfortunately, not all coverage was positive, with one outlet, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, reporting that there were only 5,000 marchers instead of the more accurate 15,000. This year marks Canada's 14th annual March for Life, as well as the 42nd anniversary of Prime Minister Trudeau's anti-life omnibus bill that made possible abortion on demand. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And theAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
German martyr beatified. Germany's Würzburg Cathedral was crammed with over 2,000 people this weekend as a little-known Bavarian priest was raised to the honors of the altar. Father Georg Häfner has been beatified for his defense of the Roman Catholic faithful during World War II in the face of Nazi threats and intimidation. The young parish priest was arrested in 1941 for his anti-government activities and imprisoned in the notorious Dachau concentration camp, where he later died of starvation and illness. It is said that some 3,000 Roman Catholic clergy have died in the same concentration camp as Father Häfner. And lastly, Meatless Fridays for UK Catholics. Though thought to be part of the, quote, baby thrown out with the bathwater after the Second Vatican Council, doing penance by abstaining from meat on Fridays will once again become a universal norm in England and Wales. The Bishops' Conference issued a statement saying that every Friday is a special day for doing penance, because it was on this day we particularly recall the passion and death of our Lord. Permission to eat meat and do some other form of penance on Fridays has been at the discretion of local bishops since the pontificate of Pope Paul VI. The practice of abstaining from meat on Fridays will be restored on September 16th of this year, the one-year anniversary of Pope Benedict XVI's visit to the United Kingdom. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure to check out the Vortex today, where Michael will talk about Pope Benedict and the world. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tell all your friends about us. And as always, God bless.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
CatholicUnderground.com, the podcast about our Catholic faith and new media.